day, coming to you live from Cleveland, where it's a very nice day, a lovely day, albeit a sad day for Cavs fans as their defending champions failed to defend the land in Game 3 and are facing a 0-3 finals deficit. Hopefully for them, they can extend the series in Game 4 on Friday night. If the Cavs need a boost off the bench, your boys spent some time warming up today at Warriors shoot-around, except I left my shot. It's an NBA 3. I'm a talking head. There it is. All right, that's enough. Let's start with the layup. Oh, good. They only showed a couple of the misses.
See, you're lucky that we were nice to you and decided not to show your 7 or 8 straight misses,
Why?
whatever it was.
You think I'm embarrassed?
I know you're not. That's why you kept shooting.
That's the thing. See, y'all out there laughing. Y'all got jokes. You couldn't have done any better. You know why? Because you don't have the courage to take the big shot on the big stage. I had the world watching me, or at least the media world here watching me. I had the world watching. I had the defensive player of the year, arguably, in my ear talking trash, asking me forcing me to shoot. And I stepped up to the plate. You got to be willing to live with the misses, and I did that. Could you do that? Could you do that? Would you have done any better?
Notice I didn't touch the ball. You weren't
exactly.
You weren't
I
quite
stepped up.
Philip Seymour Hoffman from Along Came Polly. You weren't
tried
that
to make
bad. I don't know. That wasn't rain, man. That was a drought.
Whatever. It's cool. That's not even my game anyway.
No.
I'm a back-to-the-basket kind of guy, and I told you I'm a dirty work player. I get you 6 fouls. I set screens. I make post-entry passes. I do the things that don't show up in the box score. You know that. Same thing on this show. That's what I do. I'm the glue guy. So if you need me, I got you.
It sounds like somebody's trying to justify being not very good at basketball.
I never said I was good.
Mike, but I think it's fair to say that we don't have to worry about anybody asking you to join a super team. No disrespect. Now, this afternoon, LeBron was asked whether or not super teams were fair in general.
Is it fair? I don't care. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's great for our league. I mean, right now, look at our TV ratings. I mean, who am I to say if it's fair or not? I mean, no matter who am I going against, if I'm going against 4 Hall of Famers or if I'm going against 2 or whatever the case may be, I'm always excited to play the game, and I'm not one to judge or say if it's fair or not if guys are adding players to their team. So, I mean, that's what you want to do. I mean, is it fair that the New York Yankees in the 90s was adding piece after piece after piece after piece? Is it fair that the Cowboys added Deion Sanders? Listen, I mean, it happens. It's sports. You know, you can have an opportunity to sign one of the best players, and you can do it. Go ahead and do it. Why not? If I become an owner, I'm going to try to sign everybody.
One day he just might.
Yeah.
Shout out to the owner of Town Hall. Good to be here. Fair to who? That's my question. Because I go back to what he said. He said, who am I to say? I'm glad he recognizes that as a guy who obviously constructed a super team in first Miami and then Cleveland. Yeah, who is LeBron of all people to say what's fair and what's not? And he answered it appropriately. It's not about being fair. It's about competing. So unfair to whom? To fellow players? That's not your concern if you're a player. The fans? They're not turned off enough to turn it off.
No.
They're not bent out of shape enough about players making their own decisions for themselves and forming these super teams to tune out from these games. Look at the ratings for the finals. Look at the money it's pulling in. LeBron referenced that. Look how intriguing or more intriguing it's made the NBA offseason because of the formation of super teams. We're already talking about CP3. We're already talking about, you and I have been talking about since Game 1. What's LeBron going to do this offseason with this team to come back and face the Warriors? So people don't seem bored by it.
No, they don't. I know that a lot of the people, frankly, who are complaining about the super teams don't have one. Okay, those are the type of fans. You wish you could have a super team. I wish Detroit could have a super team. I glory and revel in it all the time. And to your point about the ratings, this is the most watched finals since 1998. You know, remember that guy, Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
He seemed to be a big draw in the league, who had a super team, who won on such a dominant level, and yet no one could turn away. Even Game 3, knowing all of us watching and knowing that Golden State is the better team, viewership was up 22%. Okay, so I think a lot of people, and I get it, they want to see resistance. And the fact that you have a Golden State team that's on the verge of perhaps going undefeated in the NBA playoffs, which just saying that statement seems just so unrealistic had you said it years ago. I think it's because of that. I think it's frankly because the Cavs, they didn't have a whole lot of resistance either coming in. So I think people, what they want to see is these teams challenge. But unfortunately, with the way the league is working right now, they're only challenging each other.
I think people have a problem with it because not the idea of fairness. Because I know I use unfair as a figure of speech. When I say this is unfair, it's unfair to have that.
It's more of a compliment.
Yeah, that much talent. You know what I mean? But in terms of what people's real problem is, I think it's just free agency and the way it was formed. Because we talked about some of the great teams of the past formed through the draft. Still had that same unbelievable collection of talent dominating the league throughout its history, but it wasn't formed this way. People, if anything, they're turned off by the players doing it, because how many people have lamented or wondered what could have been in OKC? This year, you may have the finals MVP, the regular season MVP, and the runner-up all at one point were on the same team and drafted by the same team. Had they stayed together, had Kevin Durant stayed in Oklahoma City and they brought in Al Horford, which was a possibility, nobody would have said, oh, stop at the super teams. It's that the superstars are deciding their fate as opposed to letting the team, waiting around for teams to bring in help. When Kobe Bryant, he fit 20 years as a Laker, finishes a Laker, wanted out when they wouldn't give him help. What'd they do? Get Gasol, draft Bynum, have a great all-time team. Tried to do it with Dwight Howard and Steve Nash.
And I think
didn't work out.
I think what happens is this honestly raises the bar in the league, and I think that's a good thing. If you know what it will take to beat either one of these teams, the Celtics know that. That's why they've been hogging
a homegrown super team in many
that's
respects.
Why they've been
although they made trades and signed Al Horford.
That's why they've been hogging their picks and going about taking the long view, trying to build something steadily for the future.
Yeah.
Look, in order to be heroes, there's got to be villains.
Yep.
And he referenced the Cowboys and the Yankees. You know what had to happen? People had to raise to their level, and it was better for everybody.
No doubt.
All right,
let's talk about Kevin Durant's big shot last night. He did Game 3 on the line. He did what he came to go to state to do, what he trained to do, and what he was born to do. Shout out to 300. He had a shot for the ages, quieted the crowd, quieted more of his critics. And with all due respect to Steph Curry and the way he's playing in these finals, basically locked up Finals MVP. But what else did this do for Kevin Durant, that shot last night?
Isn't it funny? Like, these conversations where who's the best player change so quickly. And just in the series, or just in the span of one finals, there's already this conversation about whether or not Kevin Durant is the best player in the world.
Didn't I tell you this was going to happen? I told you this was going to happen.
Yeah, and it did. And what's even more, I think, of an achievement, the best player in the world part, to me, that's a separate conversation. And I think LeBron is still the best player in the world.
Agreed.
But if you can be the best player in a series with LeBron James, that says a lot. It says a lot with a player of this generation. But I think for Kevin Durant, we always knew he was good. You know, it was your man from Any Given Sunday says, I was always a superstar. Y'all just didn't know it. Well, we've known he's been a superstar, right? So this is not new. But I think just doing it on this stage, especially considering how things turned out for him before, I think for a lot of people, believe it or not, strangely as it may sound, it's opened their eyes to just how he's evolved as a player overall.
I wanted to make sure I got this right. So, only player to win Finals MVP while averaging at least 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, Hakeem Olajuwon, 95. That's how he's playing.
Nice company to be in.
That's how he's playing. And also on defense, the Cavs have as many turnovers against him as they do field goals made. He's holding his opponents to 35%. That's what I said coming into this is, like, for all the people who had a problem with what he did in the offseason, what he did on this stage, surrounded by this collection of talent, if he could be the best player at both ends in this series, it would force people to do a 180, and you're seeing that. It's almost like we talked about with the super teams, basically. Hate the game, but you cannot hate this player. Because it's one thing to ring chase, but when you're the one leading the way, that changes the conversation. It's one thing to jump on a 73 wins team's bandwagon, but when you say Steph, slide over and ride shotgun. Right. Again, almost averaging a triple-double Steph is, but slide over, I'm the best player on this team. He was always considered to be one of the 2 or 3 best players in the world. Now he's basically cementing that status after a couple of years where people were kind of elevating the Kawhi Leonards or even the Steph Currys of the world. I don't think he's overtaken LeBron. What I think he's done is made it awfully hard for people to hate as hard on the decision that he's made. Not to mention, just in terms of performing on this stage, he got 6 30-point finals games.
It's amazing.
So however he got here, he's here and he's showing out.
What's so impressive about watching that dagger that he hit against the Cavs was that when you look at his facial expression and certainly the way he reacted afterwards, there was no doubt in his mind that he was going to take that shot. Yeah. So just the confidence that he approached it, it was just really
That's what I'm saying. Like, they brought him here. It wasn't like he was going to just sit by and watch somebody else make the big shot. Mm-hmm. They all played out for him to do that. He pulled up and did that. They expected him to do that. They called the play for him to do that, or called plays, for him to be the focal point of the offense. So it's not like he's just along for this ride.
Right.
You know?
Let's talk.
I was sitting right in front of Mama Durant last night. So emotional.
Oh, I bet.
So we can't even articulate what it meant to both of them.
We talked about who hit the big shot. Now let's talk about who did not hit the big shot. So after KD's big 3, Kyrie Irving got the ball with under 30 seconds to go. And you'll see waves off the screen, which J.R. Smith kind of didn't appreciate, takes a contested jumper over Klay Thompson, obviously a great defender and one of the best on the Warriors. Here's Kyrie and LeBron on whether or not that was a good shot.
Kyrie had it going, as far as the one-on-one matchup, and he's an exceptional one-on-one player. We take it. He was pretty down about the shot attempt that he got, but listen, like I said, it's a miss or make league. He left everything on the floor. He did everything he could, and obviously when you miss the shot, you're always going to say, well, we could have got a better possession. We live with our star point guard taking a shot that he's capable of making. He just missed it, and that was the result of it.
It wasn't there for me, and that was just very disappointing. And when it's a do-or-die game like Game 3, you want to make that play, not only for your team, but just for your confidence. And, I'm always constantly unwavering with my confidence, but that type of shot you want to nail. After the game, it hurt. You felt like you let your teammates down because you didn't necessarily make the right decision and didn't go in.
People really killing him today for that shot?
I don't know if they're criticizing him heavily, but I think this is what I wonder watching it, and we were there live, was that the best they could do on that offensive possession? It wasn't about whether or not he's clutch or not clutch or that kind of thing.
They could have gone 2 for 1.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I just wondered about it from a situational standpoint. Was that the right thing to do? And then, look, when he waved off the screen, and I wasn't the first person to point this out. I believe Tim Legler did. What if he gets to switch there, right? What if he, instead of winding up with their best perimeter defender, what if he winds up with Steph Curry? And I think, look, I know it's always natural to second-guess in hindsight and play armchair quarterback a little bit, and I understand why that bothers him, given all the tough shots that he's made in his career.
Bothers me too, honestly.
But, look, I just, again, from a situational standpoint, I just think they may have been able to do better. That's it.
I think you can say that about a lot of his possessions. You can say that about a lot of players. Like Kyrie Irving plays hero ball. And I would just like one day, and you're right about everything you said, so is Legler or whoever else said, that's a tough one-on-one matchup to go against Klay Thompson. By the way, who he went against earlier in the game in the fourth quarter and missed a step-back shot. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, who knows how the game plays out if a driving layup in that same sequence down the stretch doesn't roll off the rim.
Right.
Okay? But I just wish somebody would stand up one day when somebody makes a huge clutch shot and say, I hated that shot. That was a terrible shot. Shouldn't have taken it. Don't care that he makes it. But nobody says that. And that's what's unfair about it is Kyrie Irving, I don't know how you criticize him for what he did last night. Could that possession have gone better? Sure. But so many other things happened around it to magnify that moment. And he did so many things throughout that game. Like, to me, we should just be celebrating what a virtuoso performance he had in defeat last night. And you go back to last year, like, all offseason we worshipped him for the shot he made over Steph Curry. Obviously, different circumstances, different matchup. But I just hate that we worship hero ball and then condemn players when they do it and it doesn't work out. We're just not consistent when it comes to the criticism that accompanies those moments. Again, he could have done things better. Could have gotten a 2 for 1. Could have maybe gotten a switch. I got it. Could have, would have, should have. But if he makes it, we're talking about, history's about to repeat itself. It's 2-1, and they got game 4 on Friday night.
It shouldn't be results-based to me.
It is, though.
The
nature of the question, the nature of this conversation is results-based.
It shouldn't be results-based. It should be situation-based, which is why I stuck to the situation and didn't really worry about the shot necessarily, or for that matter, the lack of the result.
But Jamel, do you always look at the situation when somebody makes the shot? Do you always say that was a bad shot? He shouldn't have gone ISO in that situation.
With all the shots, to me, what matters is that the best you can do? If it's not the best you can do, then it wasn't.
But Jamel, I ask you again: when somebody makes it, do you ask that question?
What if they make
if they make that shot in any situation?
I can't tell you the number of times I've thought this about Steph Curry, who is a prime example.
A tough shot maker.
A tough shot maker. I mean, he's ushered in this era, and I know high school basketball coaches probably hate him everywhere because now instead of when it's a 2-on-1 break, people stepping back to the three-point line, and that is the bane of my existence. And I get that and I understand that if a player is used to making these shots, then that's what they're just programmed to do.
Now, I'm not just talking about we're programmed to criticize people when they miss. When they make, I just don't hear people coming in and looking at the telestrator and drawing on the board saying, see, this is a bad shot. It wasn't a game, but this is a bad shot. Not to mention, even worse than not getting a 2 for 1, though, back to the situation, foul much quicker at the end of the game than they did.
And that was the other thing.
Yeah. All right, meanwhile, LeBron James got enough on his plate when it comes to defending Kevin Durant. Was in no mood to defend himself for his pass to Kyle Korver with 52 seconds left and Cleveland up 2, setting the stage for Kevin Durant going down to the other end and pulling up in LeBron's face?
If I could have the play over again, I would come off a 3-screen situation. Draymond would switch on me with 5 fouls. I would get him leaning. I would drive left. I would see KD step up. I would see Steph Curry drop on Kevin, and I would see Kyle Korver in the corner to one of the greatest three-point shooters in this league history and give him an opportunity in the short corner. I would do the same exact thing.
We're still doing this too. In 2017.
Right.
We still do, like, I would love to hear the people, and I'm not just talking about Twitter. I love, like, the question, when I heard the question in the press conference today, I was like, people really still asking LeBron James, why are you passing?
So
this is so 2007.
The problem with this conversation is that we're having the wrong one. It has come back to, LeBron didn't want it bad enough. He's not clutch. That's just a dumb conversation, especially at this point.
I think it's dumb to ask him why he passed it to a guy that in the regular season made 59% from the left corner in Kyle Korver.
But here's what isn't to wonder. We just had this conversation about situation. First thing out of LeBron's mouth was seeing Draymond with 5 fouls, and you're LeBron James, the best driver to the basketball outside of your teammate, okay? You mentioned regular season. Kyle Korver ain't been shooting like that in the playoffs.
He's 7 of 14 from that spot.
Yeah, definitely
gave
not.
Him some stuff
definitely
last
not in the finals. He gave him a little bit of stuff. So, one of my favorite games is called Would You Rather. So let me ask you this, Mike.
Going back to college?
Yeah.
Taking it back to college?
Would you rather corner 3 to Kyle Korver, who, again, has had some struggles here in the playoffs?
Durant's right there, by the way.
Or would you rather LeBron James, Draymond Green with 5 fouls?
Durant's right there.
Okay. Best driver to the basket in basketball, best player in the world. Just saying, what would you rather?
It's unbelievable.
What would you rather?
You know what?
But it's not a clutch conversation to me. It's just I just wondered in that situation.
It's a silly conversation.
It's not a silly conversation.
It really is, because this man literally cannot win for you losing. And I am never one of those people that says, woe is me for LeBron James or talks about what a victim, what if this was LeBron. I'm not one of those what if this was LeBron people, but I do see why people say, what if this were LeBron? Like, he made a decision in that moment, in a split second, to trust a teammate. That's who LeBron is, has always been, and always will be. So, yes, he could have driven it, maybe drawn a foul, or guess what? Maybe miss, like he did earlier in the game.
Which is fine.
Maybe he was tired. I just don't know how somebody who's averaging a triple-double through 3 games of the finals, and even, okay, can I expand this for a second? Mm-hmm. Even the fact that he's on the verge of getting swept for the second time in his finals career, on the verge of falling to 3-5 in the finals. The people who say, oh, well, so much for the Jordan comparison, so much for you being the GOAT. He's far from the GOAT in this situation, and why I don't think he could ever be the greatest of all time, because I don't think he's as good a basketball player as Michael Jordan. I've never been intellectually lazy enough, and nor have you, intellectually lazy enough to reduce it to the lack of team accomplishments. Right. There's one finals that you could put around him, and that's the Dallas one. He's long since atoned for that. So, as he said, it's been his lot in life to face all-time great competition, much better competition than Michael Jordan did. You're going to sit up here and tell me that we're now going to nitpick a decision that he made against an all-time great team and say LeBron is somehow not as good because his teams are 3-5 and he got swept twice. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got swept twice.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson got swept in the finals.
Correct.
They're at the table when it comes to the greatest of all time conversation. So all I'm saying is LeBron James, to me, at this point in his career, should be Teflon, and yet we can't get past, you made this decision to kick it to the corner. He should be.
But nobody is Teflon.
He should be at this point.
No. Yeah, I think it just, again, it matters what conversation you're having. For people to drag this back to the whole, he's not clutch, I thought that was, I think that's absurd.
So if you're not saying it's not about his clutch factor or his willingness to take the big shot.
Yeah, that's what I think people reduce this to.
So you're saying the guy that's lauded as having a computerized brain in that moment made a bad decision?
I just wonder if
I'll defer to his decision making.
I just wonder if a better decision would have been to drive to the basket with Draymond being in the foul situation. Was it? That's it.
When the Bulls won, the best postseason they had was '96. They went 15-3. Can you give a sense? Does that help you give a sense of sort of how hard it is to be where you are now at 15-0?
Yeah, I remember that well. We were up 3-0 in the finals too, and then we lost the next 2 games in Seattle. So. It's hard. I mean, it's in the playoffs, every team is good, particularly as you go deeper. It gets tougher and tougher. So, what this team has accomplished is remarkable. And we've had some good fortune, too. We've stayed healthy, knock on wood. Every year is different, and we know that. But, so far, things have gone our way, and our guys have really played well and competed at a high level.
All right, we had one member of the Bulls dynasty there, Steve Kerr, talking about how you guys, Scottie Pippen, were up 3-0 on Seattle in the finals. Were on your way perhaps to being undefeated as well. So you know about how.
One loss, yeah.
All right, or had one loss, but being on your way to an awesome playoff record, you know from that experience just how difficult these closeout games can be. So how much pressure is on Golden State to close this thing out in Cleveland tomorrow?
Well, it's not a lot of pressure on them, to be honest. They still got 4 games that, they can pretty much play. For Cleveland, that's where the pressure is, I believe. But for Golden State, it's going to be difficult for them to come in here and really close this team out. But right now, to me, they have the momentum. This is their opportunity. They should probably grasp this opportunity now because they've seen this momentum shift before in this series. And right now, I think they have them on the ropes. The Cavs pretty much gave their best punch, I believe, in Game 3. And the Warriors had an answer for it.
Well, if you're looking for a silver lining, if you're a Cavs fan, you went back to Golden State for Game 5, down 3-1. So, and you certainly, the Warriors probably self-inflicted pressure to return a favor, so to speak, choke away a 3-1 lead, sweep them as sweet revenge, obviously, and you would love to celebrate for a second time in 3 years on the Cavaliers' floor. But that said, though, Golden State, if they were to go 16-0, where would you put them in terms of all-time great teams? Because I think they can stand alone as the only team to do that. But I'm not sure that I would say that makes them better than your Bulls or Magic's Lakers or whatever.
Despite what Las Vegas seems to think.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what? The bookies was wrong last year. So we can't always believe in Vegas. They had this 73-team pick to be the best team. They lost to a Cleveland team last season. So, you give this team credit for the moment and right now.
Yeah.
Right now we are seeing some of the best basketball that we've ever seen in this era. And this era, the way the game is being played, the Golden State Warriors have mastered it. They've mastered it from the three-point line. They've mastered it from the defensive end. So they have put together a full package. They got great shooters. They got guys that believe in each other. They got guys that really like each other. The chemistry of how fast this team has gelled and blended with KD is amazing. And the fact that they have really sort of turned it over to him as their leader is amazing, that they didn't have to go through that period like LeBron did when he was in Miami, that grace period of trying to figure out who's the real leader.
I was saying about KD going into it, if he showed out, which he has in these finals, that he would change the minds of a lot of his critics. Because when you're the best player on the best team, that's different than just being along for the ride. Where were you when he first made his decision to join 73-win finalist Golden State versus where you are now on him, seeing him perform the way he is in these finals? Have you come around?
Well,
maybe from where you were?
My opinion is still the same.
Okay.
As a free agent, you do what you want. It's your choice. And what he did is something that was different, A lot of other players that you may ask, or, his colleagues, would they do that? They would probably say no. But when you look at what KD has done, his position of being able to step in and be their number one guy, this is something that Golden State needed more than KD. And the fact that he's been able to come there and embrace it and has been able to ride the wave all the way to the top.
Yeah, he made them better.
Yeah, so you have to take your hat off to his decision, to the management, the coaching staff, and everyone who had a part in bringing KD to this organization, because they've created an atmosphere there. They've created, obviously, a great basketball team that we believe that will be around for years to come.
All right, I'm going to put you in an awkward spot and make you be the tiebreaker. So Mike and I were arguing earlier in the show about LeBron.
Which argument?
Okay, we had a couple arguments,
Yeah.
but I'll stick to this one in particular since you played with that guy named Michael Jordan. So last night, late in the game, obviously LeBron, he kicks it out to Kyle Korver on the wing. Draymond with 5 fouls is on LeBron. To me, this was not a situation where I thought LeBron was shying away from the moment. And people keep having that dumb conversation with him. But I did wonder, from a situational standpoint, was it better for him to just go at Draymond as opposed to kicking it out to somebody who's kind of struggled a little bit in the playoffs with their shot?
Well, there's two different types of players. one, the player that we want LeBron to be, and the player that LeBron James is. LeBron James is a facilitator. He's a creator. He's a guy that makes very high basketball IQ plays. And in that situation, and in most situations, that's what LeBron James is going to do. He's not a great shooter. He recognizes that. He got great shooters on his team. He recognizes that. So we've been wanting LeBron to step up and have this, what they call alpha gene, take last-second shots, take big shots. That's really not who he is.
He's taking some big shots. And made a lot.
Don't get me wrong. Yes, and he can take more, and he should take more. So in saying that, as a spectator, I would love to see LeBron be more dominant, more selfish with the basketball, be willing to take that last shot, and put the onus on him.
I would have loved to have seen LeBron be a little more aggressive, now that I think about it, when it comes to his contest on KD's shot. I just feel like, LeBron at this point, given what he's done, should be Teflon when it comes to his decision-making being criticized. And, not to mention, look, he makes the play that was the right play, that was the team ball play. So out of one side of our mouth, he shouldn't have done that. Different circumstances. Right. But out of the other side of our mouth, Kyrie shouldn't have done that. What he did, he played hero ball. He tried to, again, different matchup, a different situation, but one person made the right play. The other one made the play that's celebrated if you make the shot.
I think they are both comfortable with what they did. Mm-hmm. I think their teammates are comfortable with what they did because they're accustomed to those guys doing those same things in situations throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. So, yes, to me, Kyrie's shot was a little bit out of character. I felt like he was trying to get the 2-for-1. And Golden State defense was set.
Real quick before we let you go, are you and Mike getting together this weekend to celebrate the 20th anniversry of the flu game? It's Sunday.
We're not.
Hold me up. 20 years. Can you believe it's been 20 years?
We're not going to get together and celebrate, but we may be watching the celebration this weekend.
Oh, no doubt. You got that right.
We appreciate you following through, Scottie.
Thank you for joining us, Scottie.
Kevin Durant. His three-pointer sealed the deal in Game 3. The biggest three of his 14 points in the fourth quarter of Game 3. He's had 31 fourth-quarter points compared to 11 for LeBron James. It's certainly significant that he shot it over LeBron James. And you could not contain the enthusiasm from the Warriors' moms.
They wouldn't take it.
I told you, I said, look, that's how she was last night. I saw her, I was sitting 2 rows in front of her, and I kept looking back every time he did something. And, she did a good job of containing her emotion in the general public, but she let it out once she got in the hallway.
Most bouted deaconesses on the Warriors. But, no, it was great. And even something else that happened, Draymond's mom, got into it with some fans, too.
They got a lot of pent-up emotion.
With all the success that he's gotten throughout his career, I've always been proud of him. I don't think that our careers are the same as far as changing teams. Their team was already kind of put together. For me, when I left here to go to Miami, we had to build something. We brought in, 8 or 9 guys, and we had to build something. And when I came back here, we built something again. I can definitely appreciate the simple fact of him just sacrificing maybe some shots here, sacrificing having the ball in his hands all the time. Who wouldn't want to sacrifice playing on a Golden State team or a San Antonio team or a Cleveland team when the ultimate result can actually compete for a championship?
Jackie McMullen, I got to sit next to you in the back of the press conference like old times. Listening to LeBron. You have a great piece in ESPN magazine about Kevin Durant and his journey this season, overcoming the injury. What did that shot last night do for him and his reputation? What has his performance in these finals done for his reputation?
Michael and Jemele, I have never, ever seen him locked in like this before. And I don't know what your pleasantries have been like with him before games, after games. He's having none of it. I'm telling you.
It's funny you say that.
No,
I mean real quick, I was messing around on the court today. And
I
didn't hear it. He didn't direct it to me. Apparently, he wanted me off the court.
Can I just tell you?
He didn't want me messing around.
I just don't want to tell everybody how bad you looked out there.
I never claimed to be a shooter, Jackie.
I am.
Michael,
I'm a dirty
Michael, if you're
work.
going to go out there, just take a 12-footer. Start there. Okay, that's my advice to you. No, but he is. He's really locked in a way I've never seen. And everything's on the line for him, and he knows it. He knows it, and he's playing that way. His teammates have talked about it today, this afternoon, about it's just all business with him because it's no good for him unless they win it all, and we all know that.
Yeah, I thought LeBron overall today, talk about old times, going to those press conferences today, Mike and I were able to return to our journalistic roots. He was very thoughtful with a lot of things that he said.
Extremely.
In particular, when he was asked whether or not he was comfortable with that sequence of when he gave dished the ball to Kyle Korver on the wing.
Right.
I disagree in terms of I would have liked to see him take Draymond to the
5 fouls.
With the 5 fouls,
You bet.
right? So I disagree, but it was interesting how he made a point to support Kyle Korver.
You and I were sitting there together, and we both looked at each other and said, that's a great answer. And the reason it was is because what he did was took us all through exactly why he made the decision he made. And when you hear him, it almost makes you change your mind because he thought KD would come over and close out on him. And Kyle Korver was brought on this team to do exactly what he didn't do last night. But he missed a shot. It's not like he dropped the ball out of bounds.
Right.
So I loved LeBron supporting Kyle Korver and telling him, hey, you know what? Next time, I'm going to pass it to you again, and you're going to make it because if you guys talk to Kyle Korver after the game or today, he needs a little pick-me-up, let me tell you.
Well, and I
He's
said
wearing
to you
that on his sleeve.
I thought that all of his answers were one of a guy that's at peace with who he is, his legacy. It knows he's doing everything he can. When you're a +7 when you're on the court in 46 minutes and -12 when the bench comes in, there's not much people can point at when it comes to you.
It can't be any beef with LeBron. I mean, the one thing you would look at is Ty Lue, and we talk about rest, not just rest in this series, but all the way back to the All-Star break. Should he have rested him more leading up to these finals? Those are the kind of questions we're going to be asking, not did LeBron let his team down.
All right, we got to let you go, but can we get together later? You can help me work on my shot.
You let me wear sunglasses on SportsCenter. I'll do anything for you.
Nice one there.
All right, we're good.
Very
Love you,
chic.
Jackie. Welcome back to Town Hall here in Cleveland. We got more company joining us now. NBC Sports Bay Area's Rosalind Gold Onwude and Marcus Thompson, author of Golden, The Miraculous Rise of Steph Curry. He's that guy that's been watching the press conferences that's been working miraculous references into the Steph Curry
Look
questions.
at him with the most Oakland outfit you could possibly.
That's how we do it. He's so
So let's go back to KD's 3, and not talking about KD, but the way Steph reacted to KD's 3. Not sure what he was doing in that moment with that celebration, but he's been amazing at both ends. And I want to ask you, starting with you, Roz, Steph's rebounding and defense.
Right.
He's around 9 rebounds a game.
Crazy.
He's defending as well as we can recall him defending. How big of these days that celebration? What was he doing there, Roz?
In the celebration, that's Steph just having fun. You know, he gets creative and just likes to play with joy.
How big have these finals been for him?
He's been outstanding. And the rebounding that you talked about, you know, he mentioned today, Ron Adams, one of the coaches for the Warriors, is constantly challenging him and also Klay Thompson to rebound more and to help out. And a lot of times as a guard, when you have a great viewpoint of where the rebound is going, and oftentimes your defender is not boxing you out as a guard. So Steph can go in there and grab a rebound, or on the other side, see it and track it down, and not be lazy and help out with D-boards as well.
Yeah.
And I also think, too, like, Steph's play in these playoffs are informed by the pain of last season.
family name on the line.
It hurt. Steph is very nice. He's very sweet, babyface assassin, all that, but he's cocky on the court. He is competitive, and he has something to prove. He's healthy now. Last season he was not healthy, you know, and people were hard on him.
This has been like a golden opportunity for him, right? You know, it's been really.
Really? Not a miraculous opportunity?
You know, the way he's risen up, you know. Steph, you know, he's a little gangster.
What did that celebration say about him in general?
Steph is a celebrator, first off. He's been doing this for years. He's been high-stepping, galloping, shimmying, and every awkward celebration you come up with. I think that was a little bit of him doing his awkward thing. I think that might have been inspired by Major League, though. I think he was going for. I think he might have been going for the cojones. I think that's what. KD hit the big shot. He's like, man, that's a big shot.
Hey, real quick before we let you go, sorry, Ross. What's the significance of 16-0 and sweeping this team? Does it truly exercise the demons of last year's?
You
wrote about that today, right?
Absolutely. You know what? I don't think it redeems 3-1. I think for the people who would bring up 3-1. This is that trump card. This is that like
the comeback.
This is the comeback. This is the rebuttal. Like you say 3-1, I'll say 16-0. What? Ace of spades on the table.
Do they get it Friday night, Ross?
Oh, I definitely think so. I think the fact that they're coming in with the Hunter mindset, and they did drop a 3-1 last year, there's no way they're not going to come in and try to execute every way and close this out. They won't be embarrassed again. and they are competitive. Now that it's right in front of them, they are openly talking about 16-0.
Can't wait to see what soundbite you and Draymond deliver this time.
Oh my God!
That's gonna be so lit.
Now, Rob, since you can hoop, take a look at our monitors and tell me what you think of this.
Lord!
Okay,
look at your boy Mike Smith.
I'm not the story.
I didn't know.
He
And
was
with
doing
the
a
tie
little
on,
too
too.
much.
Okay.
Practice today.
With the tie on, it's
kinda wet, though.
Okay, but see,
That's kinda
what
wet.
they're not showing
That's
is
not
all
an
the
easy-
air balls.
That's not an easy shot with that kind of shirt on.
Oh my God! Thank you, Rob.
That's smooth.
Abbreviated version of DTM because those hot takes.
They just had to be heard by everybody.
So what's the liquor with the?
So this peacock, it caused.
Jim Beam? I'm not a liquor person. You're the liquor connoisseur here.
I don't know. Maybe the peacock needed a shot. Peacock, you gotta let me fly.
You gotta let me fly. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. You're trying to fly.
He did.
The best part is the dude, the animal control dude.
I believe they call the peacock
He's done this before.
caused $500 worth of damage. Hopefully the peacock was not driving home. So, I can't. No. All right.
So I don't usually buy the hacked excuse, but I think if J.R. Smith did tweet this immediately after the game, I feel like he would have come up with something better than that. Cavs in 7.
I don't. I'm not really a technology guy like that. I've been known to send some pretty crazy tweets in the past, but I mean, obviously, I would know better than that. I didn't tweet it. My Twitter got hacked, and somebody posted it. I was in the shower when the tweet went out, but I mean, I believe it. So I'm just glad they didn't tweet nothing crazy.
Since it's JR, it's hard to believe, but Cavs in 7, he would have hashtagged it. Maybe he had it saved in drafts and sent it by mistake. I don't know.
I don't know what's the big deal, even if he did tweet that. Like, so what? They're down 0-3.
He might be fine for it.
I mean, they're down 0-3. Who cares, you know?
Like I said, if you're looking for a silver lining,
Yeah.
they can go back to Oakland down 3-1 if they show up. And
Not
win.
buying that excuse. Number one, Mike, you know it's going to be
How
you.
many times you going to show this?
As many times as we want. See, they didn't show your misses here, right? And you was it Gretzky that said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take? You were just trying to miss all the shots.
Roz, who played college basketball, explained to you, who did not, that I had on a tie and a dress
is that
shirt.
what it was?
And I was shooting NBA threes.
And look, and Draymond, him being the troll he is, just encouraged you
That's
to keep
what I want
shooting.
KD to know. If KD did, in fact, say get off the court, Draymond was egging me on.
Look at your shot chart.
Fancy, huh?
See the red? That stands for the misses.
Look at that circle, though. See, that's my game in the paint.
And then you made one.
I control the painted area.
You had a layup. A bunny.
3 air balls. That ain't even a real
Wait,
shot
one with your foot on the line.
Wait, that ain't even stats that ESPN keeps. Y'all inventing stats for me. That's messed up. All right, before we call it a day from Town Hall, tell the people we had a good day, Jamel.
It's a good day for Monty Williams. He's going to be the first recipient of the Craig Sager Strong Award, which will be given out at the NBA Awards in late June. As you recall, Monty Williams, he lost his wife Ingrid in a tragic car accident, and he's just been the picture of strength. So couldn't be a better recipient.
We talked about super teams. Good day for Julian Edelman. 2-year extension, I believe, with the Patriots. So rich get richer. That'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Red Sox Yankees next.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.